Welcome to the only place where real, raw, and vulnerable conversations happen with IFBB Bikini Pros to give you an inside look at their struggles, strategies, mindset, passions, and all of life beyond the stage. This podcast is made to inspire, motivate, and remind competitors and the average gym goer that even the most extreme lifestyles and elite athletes have their ups and downs. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm your host, Celeste Turk, and now it's time for the Confessions of a Bikini Pro podcast. Today, we are speaking with an online trainer and cosplayer who used to be a professional hip hop dancer and perform with top artists like Calvin Harris, Daft Punk, YG, Pharrell, and more. Her love of the gym began to outweigh her love of dance, though, and she went from working out to be skinny for an audition to training for strength and endurance. She started her competition journey in 2016 and went on a roll, placing at every single show, not just placing, but placing first. And then she went on to earn her pro card at NPC Junior Nationals. Welcome to the show, Denetra Blackshear. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you.
Good.
That intro. Thank you, girl.
Of course. I did my research. I'm so glad that you're here. We're finally talking, and we just chatted a little before hitting record, and that was a pleasure for me. So I'm really excited that everybody's going to get to hear about you and learn from you. And the first thing I like to ask people is, what's something you do or ritual you have right before your heel hits the stage?
Right before my heel hits the stage, I take a very, very deep breath in. And I literally tell myself, like, it's so basic, but I go, you got this. And then I just step on.
Love that. You get that little pep talk for you. And, you've been competing since 2016, as I just broke down, and I broke down a bit of your hip hop dance background before that too. So can you maybe share with us how each of those different parts of your life evolved and how you went from being a professional dancer to now being a professional bodybuilder?
Yeah, it's actually so crazy. Like, even thinking about being a hip hop dancer, it feels like a lifetime ago. That was in my early 20s. I was on dance teams. So I competed on around all of California with the top dance teams. I was trained by one of the top hip hop groups called Choreo Cookies. And I just went through that. And then I went to a dance audition randomly in LA when I was like 22, and I got signed by an agency. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to be famous. It doesn't happen at all. It was a lot of going to auditions, trying to balance work, paying bills, and it was hard. I got to be in a few videos. I got to be in a Daft Punk video with Pharrell, which was insane because Daft Punk had just came back, and I got to know about it like a year before everyone else. So that was cool. I just did a lot. I also, Will I Am. And then I started auditioning for bigger roles. I was supposed to be like in a Drake music video and The Dream and Jamie Foxx. But I started noticing as social media got bigger, what happened was they didn't want to pay our rates. They wanted to be like, well, if you're in a Drake video, you can like tag us on Instagram, you get exposure. And I'm like, that's cool. Exposure doesn't pay my bills. And Drake has money.
Right.
But what happened was other girls would do that because they wanted to make their Instagram big. And that just brought it down. Like, people didn't have to pay. They can get girls for free. So it just made it harder for me with that aspect. Also, I ain't gonna lie, there was sometimes being on set was fun, but it's still guys on set. So I'm not a partier person. I don't like to drink. I don't like to party. This is business. So it was really conflicting for me with that, all that stuff on the side. So I started working out because when you go on auditions, I found out soon that they make you like take off your shirts, like be in a sports bra and short underwear, and they look at your body, like straight up in a line, comparing you to each other. So I started working out and just trying to eat better. And next thing you know, you just caught me in a gym all the time. And people would ask me over time. I had friends like asking me for tips, and I'm like, what, me? Like, I'm gonna go get certified. So I went and got NASM certification, and I became a personal trainer. And then the next thing you know, like I stopped auditioning and just started training, which was great. And then what happened was my first coach, whose name I will not say because I'm not gonna lie, I do not like him, but
that's okay.
I'm right out the gate. I'm just being honest.
I love it.
Like, you do not have to be harassed by your coach in any way, mentally, sexually, any way. There's just because they're a coach doesn't mean they're a good coach. I turned myself pro. I don't care what this guy says. I turned myself pro. He did nothing. So point is, my first coach, he hit me up on Facebook, asked me if I want to compete. I said, okay, I'll try, because I always try something once. I ended up doing a 3-week prep, and I ended up winning my first show. So it was a muscle contest, Iron Games. It was, I won that one. And then
that was my first show too.
Wait, really?
2015 though, yeah.
Oh, yay. Yeah, mine was 2016. And I love muscle contest shows. It was super, super fun. And I fell in love with it. Then I want to say 2 months later, I went to, we did Fit Expo, muscle contest again. I won the overall. And then 2 months later, I did another muscle contest show, and I won first place, lost the overall to Masa, but like,
wow,
it's Masa. Like, come on, son. I was like, hello. She was perfect. She was like going to the Arnold. Like, so I did not mind. I love her. And then, so for March, I went back into prep. And in June, I went to Chicago to Junior USA's, and Sandy turned me pro. And I was so surprised. When I tell you guys, I had no idea what was happening. It's kind of crazy, because I got thrown into this world and then it just kept going. I love to work out, and I'm very like, give me a plan, I'll stick to it. But I didn't understand all like the ins and outs, everything. And one funny story was, after I won my pro card, I'm backstage and with all the pros, and JM is telling us about, the photo shoot, right? Everyone knows about the photo shoot.
Yes.
And then you're going to be in a magazine with your name and all the pros, right? You know about it, right?
Oh, absolutely. I used to save every single magazine clipping. I have one hanging on my wall.
Right? Everyone knows about it. Denetra didn't. Hello. That's how bad my first coach was, because he didn't even tell me. I was like, wait, what? We have to be here tomorrow. I have a flight in the morning. And I remember JM was kind of upset with me. He goes, what is wrong with you? Blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh, I just started competing in November. And everyone got quiet and looked at me. What? They're like, what show is this for you? I'm like, this is my 4th show. What? And I just didn't know what it meant. I didn't understand, because my current coach, what I learned now is he kind of rode my coattails, if that makes sense. Like, I was just a really, really good athlete. He honestly didn't even think I would turn pro. He goes, I didn't think you would turn pro, so I didn't tell you about the magazine. I was like, wow. Noted. So anyways, did that. He made me debut 2 weeks later, which I strongly disagreed against. I wanted a break. Obviously, I just started competing. I needed a break. Didn't listen to me, pressured me. I debuted in July at Muscle Contest. I think it was Patriots. And I placed 10th at my debut, which I was very proud of, because it was like, Tamara was still competing. Remember Tamara?
I do. Is that her name? Yeah, she was my very first guest on this podcast.
Oh my, I love her, right? But like, she won that show. She won that show. Frida Paulson was still competing in bikini. Like, I went against some like beasts.
Yes.
And I placed 10th. And I remember them even telling me, the judges were like, your body was top 3. Your posing was not. Because again, I got thrown into this world. I didn't know what posing really was. Like, I didn't really understand how important it was until I got to the pro stage. And I was like, oh, the pros were like, what's up, little one? You're cute. Welcome to the pro league. And they let me have it. So, but I'm very, very lucky. And then, yeah. So that's how I got into turning into a pro.
I love that. I appreciate you sharing your experiences as a dancer and then how that
Mhm.
evolved into becoming a personal trainer. And then that evolved into competing. And even though you had a very negative experience with that coach, it sounds like you learned a lot along the way. And
Yes.
you've now immersed yourself even further into the sport and you're participating, obviously, as a pro, continuing from here. So, something about competing, despite the negative coaching experience, must have kept you in it. So what is it that you like about competing?
Um, it's well, one thing for sure, I wish more people talk about it is the peers, the women in the sport. So I'm a
Mhm.
bikini pro. I get to compete with other bikini pros. And when I was an amateur, I remembered that the girls weren't that nice to me. I didn't understand why. And I thought it was just everyone being competitive. So when I turned pro, I thought it was gonna be the same thing. My pro debut, when I stood up and they announced my name at check-ins, everyone stood up and clapped, hugged me. The day of the show, I was backstage. They were giving me treats. All the girls were talking to me, explaining to me like, "Girl, you got this. Like, you're gonna have so much fun." And I was like, "Oh, being a pro is like the bomb. Like, everyone's so nice and sweet." And I realized it's because the pro girls aren't insecure. We all work hard and we all understand it and we all respect each other. So when it's show day, I feel like we just don't. It is what it is. Like, we see the girl who's going to win. Like, we usually know who's winning when she walks through the door. We go, "Oh, here she won. All right, I see you. I'm gonna get you next time, girl." And that's just how we talk to each other. Everyone gets along. I've felt everyone gets along. Um, and that family, meeting girls who are just like me, who are just as crazy about weighing every little food like me.
Yeah.
Like, I need that. And then so everyone kind of in the league became my family. And they're the reason why I was able to survive my first coach. And they're the ones who told me that it was me, not him, who turned me pro. And that's why I stayed. The family, what the IFBB Pro League has made is insane, because when you turn pro, you do sign a contract. And we're like not really allowed to talk about each other. We're not allowed to start a lot of drama. They're very about, being about the league and representing the league. And
Mhm.
I think because of that, that's why the environment is so inviting and friendly. Especially bikini, because we're famous for that. Like, everyone says bikini is like, we don't really get any drama. We all get along. I can't talk about the other categories. I'm not in them. But bikinis, we are known for like cheering the other girl on stage when girls win first place. We usually, like, we're all hugging her for at least like 5 minutes,
I
because
love that.
because we all know each other's journeys. Like, we
Mhm.
know, and we talk to each other on social media, on the phone, backstage. There's a lot of things that people don't see. We all talk to each other a lot. So when someone finally wins, you know their story and you get it, and you're just so happy for them.
That's so beautiful. Honestly, like, part of this podcast is about bringing the community together and shining light on the journeys that athletes go through.
Mhm.
Because we are all on this journey and really together, even though it's very individual, we're part of this together. And it's been so clear just in how you show up and the things that you've just shared as well now, that community and friendship through this sport has given you a lot of drive. And I
Yes.
was hoping you could maybe share how you have connected with or continued to connect with some of the best friends that you've made in bodybuilding, especially with distance, and how do you find, or maybe what you find to be common among all of you?
Yeah. So, I mean, I am so grateful for social media. It's a blessing and a curse. But definitely be able to keep us all connected, because I mean, we have competitors in other countries, um and you have so the time zone difference in this other states. So social media definitely really keeps us connected. And I love seeing like the Instagram stories that I could see where everyone's going in their prep journeys. And I personally make sure I DM everyone. I'm always cheering. If you ever see a show like this weekend, as we're recording, it's Salt Lake City, I posted all my friends. I'm like, "You guys, please go cheer these people on." Like, love it. I live for it. Um, I forgot the question because I talk so much.
No, it's awesome. I love it. What do you think is common among all of you?
Oh, Well, there's a lot, actually. I think even for the top girls in the world, I've been very blessed. I got to compete in another country. I got to do Korea. I was living in Korea with some of my friends. I decided to challenge myself and compete, and it was the Asia Grand Prix. And you know, the Asia Grand Prix, it's like post Olympia. Okay, so all the
Yes.
Olympians pretty much come over. And I remember I did that show, and everyone's like, "Are you crazy? It's the Olympians." I'm like, but when would I ever get a chance to be on stage with the Olympians, you know, and
Mhm.
just learn? And why not? Like, I love learning from people. And one thing I learned, like, I got to hang out. Angelica was the current Miss Olympia. She just won her second term. And I got to talk to her, and she's just like everyone else. You know, she works hard. She loves her family and friends. She's meal prepping. She's doing her tan. She's chilling in her bed with her feet up. Like, she's just an everyday girl. And I got to meet Ashley and Janet and Brina Martinez that time, and we were all the same. You know, we're all going around posing, weighing our food, making sure our tan's good, conserving our energy,
Mhm.
fixing our suit, making sure our hair is perfect. It's like, it's so nice to see, like, wow, you're just like me. Um, and I feel like over the years of competing, I've noticed that we all go through things. You know, it's hard balancing bodybuilding with having an outside life too. It's important. It's very, very important to have relationships outside of bodybuilding, but it is very hard to balance it and to find those people who understand it. Um, I think another trait that we all share is, like, you know, reversing. Like, all of us have off season. Everyone pretty much struggles with the off season. It takes you a while to learn how to do off season right. um I remember my first off season, I was just like, why is everyone else still lean? And I'm just like, I just gained like 30 pounds. Like, what happened?
Yeah.
um Takes practice, what I learned from all the girls. Like, it did not, like, Ashley stays almost like 8 pounds above stage weight, and if you talk to her, it's not, she did not learn overnight. You know what I mean? It
Right.
takes time. But the cool thing about this league is we all talk to each other on, you know, on Instagram a lot, and we all help each other. Which I wish I could screenshot all the conversations with all the girls.
Mm.
But everyone helps each other. No one's like so competitive that they don't want to help the other girl. Like, you still got to bring it that day, no matter what. So yeah.
Think too, like champions have this mentality that they want to go up against the best. They don't
Hmm.
want people showing up half half-assed. They don't want people showing
Yep.
up not looking their best. They want to
Yes.
earn their win. And I truly believe that's the difference between someone with a champion mentality and someone without one. Um,
100%.
you know, they want to rise to the occasion. So of course they want to help you to look your best because if
Mm.
they beat you, they know they beat you at your best. And you now
Yes.
have the ability to get better.
Exactly. Exactly.
So you just talked about how it's important to have a life outside of competing and have relationships outside of competing, even though that can be hard. What does having a life outside of competing look like for you?
Yeah. So actually, if you don't know right now, I am with a way better coach. I'm on I'm on Team Physique with Paul Revellier. I love him so much. This man has given, first of all, gave me a better relationship with food. So first, coach gave me an eating disorder. I would see food and freak out. I just thought all food was bad. I didn't know how to eat. And Paul has taught me how to eat better and eat what I kind of like and balance everything. So I have a better relationship with food. Because I have a better relationship with food, I have a better relationship in my life. Because now my whole life doesn't revolve around food, right? I used to like not go out to birthday parties because I would get mad at everyone's eating cake. I wouldn't want to like go on a hike because I was like, I'm gonna get hungry. I'm gonna get hungry. I'm tired and I can't have extra food. I wouldn't date because how do you date if you can't eat food? Like,
Mhm.
you know, how do you do that? I was always hangry. So since I have a better relationship with food, I have a better relationship now with everyone in my life. So outside of competing, I do run my own online training business, and I help everyday women and men. I don't help competitors. I love competitors. Don't get me wrong; those are different mindset.
Yes.
I love dealing with the everyday people, just like that mom who just like, you know, she's noticed that it's getting harder to carry the groceries, or it's hard for her to keep up with her kids. That woman that just wants to get ready for her wedding dress. I love helping people like that, because our biggest problem in America right now is most people have bad relationships with food. So I just want to teach people how to have better relationship with food. They teach their kids, and then that's how I give back to the world. So I have that. I also make sure I spend time with my friends. Like, I literally have dates with my friends. I have FaceTime dates because COVID did happen, so it was a little hard. But I set FaceTime dates. I moved from California to Georgia to be closer to my father. My father lives in Atlanta, Georgia, and I really wanted to build that relationship with him because my parents were divorced. So he's been over here outside of my life about 15 years just because of distance. So moved in with my father. I'm a daddy's girl. I'm loving it.
That's awesome.
We have date nights and we watch TV together. We do things together. He's so supportive of me competing. I did get into a relationship. It's going well so far. I don't want to talk about it anymore because I want to but he supports me too. So that's been great. And Paul, actually, my coach Paul, I competed at Tahoe Pro last September. And I remember Paul pulled my best friend to the side because she was at the show. And behind my back, he asked her, he goes, what is her life like outside competing? And she told him the truth. Well, she's like, she just competes. And he's like, you're getting off stage. You need a life outside of bodybuilding. You can't just bodybuild. And I'm so grateful he did that to me, because the off season, that's what I did. Is I went back and I built relationships with my friends, my family. I got into a relationship, and I nurtured those. So now I'm in season, I'm 13 weeks out. I am never this calm 13 weeks out. Like, I'm not, I don't want to say chilling because but we're never chilling.
Right.
But I do feel very like happy every day. And I have such a crazy support system. Everyone in my life is always messaging me, making sure I'm okay. Everyone helps me with my meal prep and motivate me to go to the gym. And I'm just so grateful. And yeah, so that's what life looks outside of bodybuilding, like everyone else's life.
Well, thank you for sharing that, because I believe we got to hear some of your passions and some of your interests and the way you've prioritized relationships. And I think it's awesome that Paul said that to you. I loved having Paul on the show for coaches, the very first coaches series. Actually, he was a pleasure to talk to, and I got to meet him at an expo one time, and he's very genuine. And
yes.
I think it's great that you're having a more positive experience. And I also want to say I appreciate that, as a fitness coach, not just yourself, but also Paul, that there is a prioritization of working on someone's relationship with food. I personally specialize in that from a psychology and mindset perspective. And so it's great to see that in the industry that's transforming. There's a lot less of everything revolves around your diet. And then after the show, nothing matters.
Yes.
And I think that's really key. And I was hoping you could maybe expand on some of your past experiences with coaches that were not so great, and how that's now informed your view on competing and choosing your current coach.
Yeah, I would love to say that, because I meet so many amateurs who get in a bad relationship with a coach and then they just never compete, or they don't want to do it. And it breaks my heart. I get so mad because I'm like, oh my God, like, competing changed my life. Like, it made me more disciplined. It gave me a new family, and it gave me a new drive. And I wish this gift for so many people. So when someone takes that from someone, like, it breaks my heart. My first, I had two coaches, but my first coach was way worse than my second. But one was the relationship with food. It was a strict meal plan. And the meal plan wasn't like explained to me. Like, I wasn't told why we eat this for the first meal, why we eat this before we work out and post workout. My fat was really low. I mean, my fat was like, you get 7 almonds a day.
Oh boy.
I'm a woman. I need fat. It's called hormones. And I would challenge him because I was smarter than that. But for some reason, Because I'm such an athlete, I listen to my coach. So I like let him tell me I was wrong, even though I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Like I couldn't switch out like asparagus. Like I was like, I'm sick of asparagus. Can I switch to spinach just for a couple of weeks? Because I'm sick of asparagus. No, eat asparagus only. I'm like,
what if you were allergic? Like, what would he have said?
Exactly. Like,
makes no sense.
So it was crazy. He also put me on an extreme fat burner my first season, which I didn't know was bad. And I was told that everyone takes this, even up to like the Olympians, everyone takes this. So I was like, okay, cool, I'll listen to you, but I don't think this is smart for long term. And that fat burner, I think it's called the ECA stack. Do you remember that one, or do you know about that?
I believe Ebony Chipman broke that down for us, but I'm not 100% sure. Can you explain it?
I don't remember exactly. I remember it was like I would take some like the Bronchade or like asthma pill with a caffeine pill with aspirin twice a day.
Okay.
AKA low key speed.
So terrible. Like Ebony Chipman, I can't believe you brought that up. I haven't spoken with her in a while. I should touch base with her, but she came on the show and she told us about that and how she did that. And it was quite the experience. And I think it's unfortunate that you had that experience your very first show. Being the athlete you are, you're like, okay, well, I'm just gonna do what he says because he knows best.
Exactly. And I said I didn't think I needed it. I was like, well, why don't I just take longer preps? Why do you think so fast? You know, he just wanted to get me on stage, just make him look good. That's what I learned now. Looking back, I made him look good. Get her on stage, get her on stage, get her on stage. Didn't give me a good relationship with food. I didn't understand what I was eating and why. I would always binge eat after a show. Oh my Lord. Like I was backstage just thinking about what I'm going to eat. I'm on Yelp reviews. I'm like telling people to bring me donuts and pizza. And like, that's horrible because you shouldn't be so starving that you're thinking about what to eat next. Like being with Paul, I don't even like think about the food at all. Like half the time we all go back upstairs and eat our meal prep because I'm like, yo, I just want my rice. Like I want to get full off of rice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because my body wants real food now. It doesn't crave junk after a show. It's just like, hey, just carb us back up. And water. My body wants water. I got dehydrated. Ooh, oh my God. Getting dehydrated is like the worst feeling in the whole wide world. I don't know why they do that. We would take like, I forgot what pills, like dandelion root pills, and my water would get cut. And like the day before the show, I'll get like literally like 1/4 water. Like it was crazy. Like now that I think about it. So it was very extreme. Obviously you can't reverse out of that because I'm taking a fat burner. I'm taking dehydration pills. Like my body after a show is so lost and confused and starving for anything that whenever I ate anything, obviously I just put it back on. Right. So I was gaining like 25, 30 pounds, like 2 weeks later, every time. Doesn't matter what I did. And, you know, he would yell at me like, you're eating like crap. I'm like, I'm telling you, I'm not, I don't go like that. I'll eat bad at night and I'm back on the next day. But my body just, you understand how it works. My body was like, no, you starved us. So I'm holding on to everything. So that was my relationship. And it actually gave me a bad relationship with food for the next, like, I want to say 2 to 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
I would binge eat, lose weight, binge eat, lose weight. I literally was like, how do all these pros keep competing and staying lean? Like, I don't get it. And then I got on Team Pro Physique and Paul changed all that for me.
That's awesome.
I did my first year with him last year. But me and him decided like, it was just me getting used to like, I got to actually prep. You know what I mean? Like legit, like not only fat burners, not getting dehydrated, just prep, like, and learn my body. Cause I never got to learn my body without taking all that crap. So now that I know my body and how it reacts, last year, I didn't do so well in shows, but Paul got to see me on stage. I got to learn how my body works. He got to learn how my body works. And then I got to reverse out. And this off season, I put on so much muscle. And if you go on my Instagram, Denetra Be Fit Now, I have been posting my 1 year difference because me 13 weeks out now versus 13 weeks out last year, night and day, like night and day. Super
it really is.
Thank you. body recomposition. I kept my waist. You can even see my skin is healthy. I'm smiling. My face is like not fat and full, because obviously last year I was depressed from all the binge eating and my bad relationship with food. And this year I'm like, hey, what's up, guys? We're competing. I'm like more excited.
Yeah.
And I really want to show that journey. I want to show girls how important the off season is. That's when you do your work. That's when you put on the muscle. That's when you shape up. You don't have to be perfect on your diet, but you don't skip the gym, you don't skip your cardio, and you don't go crazy. Just find a balance. That way, when prep comes and it's time to turn it up a notch, you just start revealing all that muscle you built. And I love showing people what you're capable of. And I am a natural bodybuilder. I'm not against performance enhancing drugs at all, but it's just very important for me to be natural, because I want to show everyday women that they can do it too. Like, you don't have to take anything to look like this. You just got to work hard and be consistent and don't give up on yourself. That's like that's my message. So that's why I'm showcasing my year difference every week, because I want to show people, like, look what I did. Like, I just stayed on it. You could do it too. I used to drink 3 liters of soda like you. I used to drink alcohol every night like you. But like, look what I did after just being consistent. So
That's awesome. I love that. And well, you went on this journey, of like, okay, that was your reality before, soda, alcohol, and then, dancing as well. And that was probably challenging for a few different reasons, from a unprofessional standpoint, when you wanted to be professional, and then you went into competing and had a negative first experience with a coach and learned the importance of a positive reverse diet. And now you're showcasing what that can do for you, and you have a life outside of competing. So I love that you're representing this. And I think this is so key. And it's great to hear you say it, because I think there's girls out there who feel like, oh, well, I've screwed up, bro. I can't do it. Or I had a bad coach or bodybuilder. And it's like, I hate the whole jaded bodybuilder thing, where it's like, oh, bodybuilding ruined me. It's like, well, let's look at what happened, right? You can do it in a different way. And you found a different way, which is huge. Yes. And you're a coach yourself. You were just talking about how you want to inspire people on their journey. So
yes.
How do you support your clients and in maybe finding that balance or consistency, which you said is important, and through your app and taking your work online? Like, how do you do this? What's your philosophy?
Yeah, so I do have an app. So my app is available for iPhone, Android. So what I learned, since I'm dealing with everyday people, I had to make it very accessible for them. Okay, I'm not trying to say they're lazy. They're just not as obsessed with working out, eating as bodybuilders, right?
Right.
So I made a quick app that doesn't take up too much space on their phone. I have workouts with video tutorials, and they check in. The biggest thing I learned is they need accountability. They need someone to talk to, because in their world, no one's working out. No one's eating healthy.
Great point.
So, because we're used to in our world in bodybuilding, because everyone does it. But in their world, they usually don't have that support. If they do, it's like their husbands, which I love the husbands. They make my life so much easier. I love when the husbands, because husbands are like, yo, you cooking? I'm down.
Right.
I tell them, I'm like, listen, your man will eat wherever you cook. He just cook it. But yeah, I make it so really everything accessible. So they go into the gym, they know what they're doing. They see how to do it. They're not confused. Every time I talk to people, when I first started asking people like a survey, like, why don't you work out at the gym? They go, I'm scared. I don't know how to use the machines. And I feel like everyone's staring at me. So when I approach people, I approach everyone with that same like mindset. I'm like, first of all, let me tell you the truth. Everyone's conceited. No one's paying attention to you. Okay. They care about themselves. But I understand why you feel that way. Totally get it, but I'm telling you right now, ain't nobody caring about you. They look at me because I'm the girl over here with the babes, all right? And I just let them feel comfortable. I'm like, but you're always welcome. Like, go in a corner and be away from people if that makes you feel better. Teach them how to use the machines. And since they have a plan, you're more confident. Like when you know what you're doing for the day, you get in, you get out. You're more confident. I'm all about motivation. So I send motivational videos every Monday, obnoxious ones, usually with The Rock, because I'm obsessed with him. He's a beautiful specimen. It's always The Rock or Kevin Hart or just motivation videos. They wake up Monday morning with a motivational video, and a lot of my clients say they love it. I send out quotes all the time. I'm always messaging, just like keep it up one day at a time. And I do have like a premium membership where people can video chat with me, and a lot of them love that. Just having someone on their team. That's literally it. Especially for women. Women just want to feel supported, and they want someone that can relate to them and someone to listen to them, because, you know, it's hard to talk about your insecurities. But I come in as someone where I'm like, please tell me every little thing, and I'm going to help you get through it together. And then that builds that trust. And then because I built that trust, they listen to me when I tell them they can't have cake at 2 a.m.
What? You can't?
They trust me. I'm like, you can have cake, but I tell them, like, listen, I'm okay with you having cake for your birthday next week, but can you not have cake at 2 a.m. every day? So you can have cake on your birthday in 3 weeks? Or like, okay, deal. That's what I do. I help them find balance with food, work, and gym life.
That's so awesome, because they probably, at least I think, because I deal with this sometimes in the gym, but people look at competitors and they think, oh, you must never eat. You must train so hard all the time.
You lick lettuce. I get that. You look like you lick lettuce. I'm like, what? You think I got these muscles from licking lettuce?
Good point. But that's the thing. Like, they don't get it, you know, and it's not because of them. I didn't get it when I first started. I'm sure you didn't, you know, to some extent. You know, it's like, you don't know exactly what to do until you're doing it, and you are consistent, like you said, or you have a role model or a positive coach in your life. And I just think it's awesome that, you know, a bodybuilder can support an everyday person, if you want to call them that.
Yeah.
And say,
I like saying that. I hope that doesn't come off offensive.
I know, no, it doesn't. But, you know, I beat myself up sometimes, like, just raw moment for me. My podcast intro, oh my god, I say like that is like inspire blah 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 competitors and average gym goer, and like for some reason the past couple months it just like eats me out that I said average gym goer, because I don't know if it gets a point how I actually feel like I'm so inspired by these people, like the people you work with, like the people I see, the average quote unquote gym goer. Like, what I mean by that is those who are not taking it to an extreme, but they're still doing it every day. Like, I hope
maybe call them your everyday people, and I feel like people love that.
Totally.
There's a song, everyday people. Since it's a song, everyone's okay with it.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. When you started singing that, I thought of like, I'm every woman.
Oh my god, I love that. That's on my gym playlist, the Whitney Houston version though. I be in the gym like, of course. I be killing it. Like, you can't tell me anything. Oh, I love it.
Oh man, me too. Well, I actually feel really grateful that I got to clear the air on that too, because I don't think I'm gonna record that, but now you guys know what I mean by that. Anyway, so thank you, Denetra.
Of course.
I'm very inspired. I love the work that you're doing. I think it's awesome. It's so clear that you have passion. It's so clear that you care. And you said you like working with these everyday people. And when I was prepping this episode, I was like, I wonder if she works with cosplayers, because you put stuff out. So can you, like, have you?
So if you don't know what cosplaying is, you guys, I'm pretty sure you guys know, like Comic-Con. Those people wear those costumes. I'm one of those people. I have. So usually right now, because of COVID, conventions are like all the cons, we call them cons, they're all closed. So I haven't, but when it's con season, oh yeah, people will slide in and be like, Nature, please get me ready for this costume in 5-6 months. And I love it, because most cosplayers are just everyday people. And they usually wear, you might wear a very revealing outfit, so they just want to feel confident, and that's all I want them to do too. So yeah, here and there, I train some cosplayers, but yeah.
How'd you get into it? Cosplaying, that is. Oh my God.
So growing up, I remember, I want to say I was probably 10, and our neighbor was in the Navy, so he's been to Japan, but he came back with this videotape It was my first anime ever. It was called Rama One Half, and it was in subtitles, English subtitles. I was watching anime with English subtitles at 10. And it was not a kid-friendly anime. But my parents were totally okay with it. Because I actually was a bad kid. Like, I was crazy. I was all over the place. I was always breaking things, getting in trouble. My parents didn't understand why. It was just because I just needed something to grab my attention. So they bought me a video game console, and they bought me like animes, and I got obsessed with them. And then I got obsessed with comic books, and then Saturday morning cartoons like Spider-Man and X-Men. And next you know, I'm obsessed with anything, I guess, quote unquote, is geeky. My dad loves Star Trek, so I love Star Trek. I love Star Wars. I love all that stuff. So what happened, I want to say around 22, 23, I was living in LA, and I met some friends out one day, and they're like, hey, well, we're going to a convention. I was like, oh, like those con things. Like, yeah, it's kind of small, it's local. Do you want to come? I'm like, okay, I'm down. Like, you could dress up. I was like, okay. I randomly had the Halle Berry costume, Catwoman, which is like the worst movie she's ever done, but like I love it so much. I had that as a Halloween costume, so I just put it on. And the response I got from people, like, I went to the convention and there was like a line of people waiting to take pictures with me. And I was like,
wow,
why me? Why? And it was because I was inspiring people. And I had this little Black girl come up to me and go like, oh my God, I never see like Black cosplayers and like dressed up, like, and like sexier outfits or as other Black superheroes or anything. I was like, what? Like, I just didn't understand what I did. So in the cosplay world, obviously, you know, everything going on in the world, we do know that racism exists. It happens in the cosplay world too. I have been attacked for doing characters that are not Black, because it's not my skin tone. They're like, oh, that character's white. I'm like, first of all, it's a cartoon, so they're nothing. Secondly, is a white guy with blue eyes in Japan. It doesn't, because I did Goku from Dragon Ball Z. I'm like, no one cares. I was like, we're all supposed to, like, the whole point is we're all these weird geeky kids that just sit in the rooms all day and watching anime and reading comic books, and then we come together and geek out about it. We're supposed to support one another. So I found out that a lot of Black kids were getting attacked when I got into the world. And they were scared to do characters that weren't Black. And I was like, well, you could talk crap to me all day because I am scared. Talk to me because I'm not insecure, but do not attack that kid right there. So I started doing characters that were very popular that usually Black people don't do. So other Black cosplayers were comfortable doing those characters too. So I've gotten a lot of love back, and that's kind of how I got into it. Kept going to conventions, dressed up as different characters, built a family, built a little following, and yeah, now I'm like this 31-year-old dressing up in my house randomly. My neighbors think I'm so weird. But I love it. I mean, and now it's really cool because obviously superhero movies like took over. Mm-hmm. You know, thank God for that. And it's like cool to cosplay, and I'm all here for it. I love it. I love that we don't have to hide in our rooms anymore.
That's so awesome.
Actually, fun fact. So there's a big name cosplayer. Her name is Alicia Marie Body. Have you ever heard of Alicia Marie Body?
I have not.
All right. So Alicia Marie Body actually was a bikini competitor. Back when like bikini looked more like bikini, you know what I mean?
Like the beach bikini.
Yeah, like I think she even competed like Ashley's first year winning Olympia. Like, so I remember seeing Alicia compete. And I was like, what's that? So I kind of saw bodybuilding because of her, and then she cosplays. So of course I love her. She's like the biggest cosplayer. You guys can find her Alicia Marie Body, and you could tell she was a bodybuilder because her body's so perfect. Like she reversed and she just keeps eating perfectly. And I'm so blessed because now we're friends. And it's crazy how things happen. Like I went from like being obsessed with her in bodybuilding and cosplaying to be like becoming one of her friends. And she's messaging me like, let me know when your show is. I'm coming to that show. And we're planning conventions, and it's just cosplay and bodybuilding did that for me. It introduced me to like one of my idols. So it's cool. So fun fact.
That is so cool. Oh, I love that story. You are so community based,
Oh
community
yeah.
oriented. I
I
love
think
that
it was
about you.
I think because I joined dance teams when I was 17, 18.
Mhm.
And my dance teams were like a family. They talked about being a community. And I'm so blessed because of dance. I didn't really get into drugs. I didn't really get into bad things because I couldn't. I had dance class. I had to be there for my team. And I've taken that in my whole life. Even coming on the team with Pro Physique, like I love being on the team and I love supporting people. I'm the girl. You can ask any competitors. Like I'm the girl on the side of the stage screaming people's name. Like I'm ridiculous. Like I annoy myself. Sometimes I'm like,
I'll have to compete at a show you're doing, so I have a hype woman.
yes, I be back there dancing. I'm like, yo, y'all, guess what? We're gonna eat today. Hey, we're gonna eat. I mean, we're all winning, but we all get to eat. Cause like, it's not that we don't get to eat, but it's so nice. Like
I
when
know
you
what
can
you
like
mean.
you can eat till you're full. That's like the best feeling in the world. Like I'm gonna eat 3 bowls of rice because I can.
So funny. Oh my god.
So true. But
You're
yeah.
so awesome. I'm loving this conversation. Lexi Maitland and I, we
Yeah.
talk a lot and she loves you. You know, she was like, you gotta get Denetra on. I was like, oh my God, I really do. And
Oh, I
so,
love her so much. I convinced her to compete.
no, I didn't know that.
Oh my God. So Lexi to me, and I hope she's gonna listen to this and she's gonna
She's gonna
cry because we're
listen.
talking about her.
Yeah.
The thing with Lexi, when I first joined the team and I saw this girl, I mean, she's like, 22, 23?
I think so.
She's like a coach on a team, like has her own apartment in Florida. Like
She's a
Lexi,
boss.
she's a boss and she's so smart. And I'm like, girl, I was not like you when I was your age at all. I was drinking and dealing with F boys and not making good decisions. But I'm just so admired by her. She loves the sport so much and she's such a good representation of it because she does macros and she looks like she's competing all the time. I'm like, Lexi, what are you doing?
She truly
Like
does.
let's go get that pro card, and
That's gonna
I
be
think
awesome.
a month ago I low-key just like not yelled, but I mommed her. I was like, you need to compete. I'm done with this. I'm like, you need to practice what you preach. You're pushing other people on stage. What about you? Um, she just needed that push. So I'm very, very happy. Me and Daraja. So Daraja Hill, she's Olympian on
Love
the team.
Raja. She's been on the show. She's amazing.
So she's my best friend. Like that's my sister. I love her so much. I'm gonna cry. I think this year, me and Daraja, I'm definitely gonna film more because honestly, us being 2 Black pro trying to go Olympia on the same team, you would think we'd be competitive. We're so opposite. Like we both say, like, if I lose, it better be to you. Like, because then I'm not losing. You know what I mean? We help each other out so much. I'm really good with hair and makeup. That's what I'm known for. So I help with that, and she's like stupid good at posing, like ridiculously good at posing. So she's been helping me with that. But anyways, we both been working with Lexi, and we're convincing her and hyping her out because we love her so much. I don't think Lexi understands what she can do in a sport and what she represents in the sport. And I want girls like her in the pro league. I want girls like her representing IFBB Pro League. And she's not gonna get it until she turns pro, because she will.
She will.
But she will. She loves it too much. And yeah, so I'm happy she connected us because she said the same thing to me. I was like, I mean, I guess if you want to talk to me, I think I'm boring, but
You think you're boring? Oh my God, what the heck?
I think I'm lame. I'm always like, why? When people meet me, they're like, hey, I'm like, hey.
You are not lame.
I just sat in my room and watched a Korean drama for 4 hours. Like,
That's so funny. I'm not into that stuff, but I love that you're into it. Like, I think it's fun.
yes.
Okay, actually, I wanted to ask you, do you think there are misconceptions about cosplaying?
Yes.
What are they?
One of them is like, oh, they're just girls that want attention. I just want to dress half naked. I understand because there are people who are like that. But cosplay is just being a kid. when I was younger, I really thought I was weird because I would watch these cartoons with subtitles. Like I didn't see other people, right? Because I'm 31. So when I was a kid, there was no social media, right?
Right.
So I didn't see other kids reading things with subtitles. I didn't see kids like go to comic store and read comics all day. And definitely girls. I didn't see girls like want to watch X-Men and Spider-Man. And so I thought I was the only one. I like to play video games all day. Like I thought it was just me. I didn't have this outlet when I was younger. And now that I'm older and it's happening, I want to be a kid. Like, why can't I be my kid self and go do the things I love? And that's pretty much what cosplay is. And if you've never been to a convention, one thing is you do not have to cosplay. Like you can just wear street clothes, like normal clothes. The conventions are so much fun. There's big events. There's a lot to look at. You can buy things. All the artists are there. It's just so much fun. And you meet like-minded individuals. And it's so much fun. If you go on my YouTube, Denetra Blackshear, I have one of the convention videos up. It was called WonderCon. And I wore my Halle Berry Catwoman. And I just wanted to show what it's like. And if you notice, we have so much fun. We're a family. Everyone's like meeting up and just taking pictures and laughing. And the best part for me are the kids, because the kids freak out when they see us dressed up. Like they have panic attacks. I actually one day was dressed like Princess Jasmine. And I remember I was outside and I see this little girl and she's slamming on the window in the building. And I'm like, what the heck? She runs and I see her parents run for her. And this little girl is booked it down the stairs. And she runs and she like comes to me. And her mom's like, baby, like, why'd you run so fast? She goes, Mommy, it's a black princess. She looks like me. Wow. And she's a Disney princess. And I can't tell you, I started crying so hard because I didn't understand what that meant to her. Like, I didn't understand what I was doing. I just felt like dressing like Princess Jasmine. I was like, oh, this is cute. But to this little girl, I was a black Disney princess out. And then when you looked around, there wasn't a lot of us. And she was so happy. And then she took a picture of me and she was smiling. And the mom was like, thank you. Like, thank you so much. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, this is bigger than me. Okay. Got it, God. I'll keep doing this.
I love that.
Yeah. So it's a big community.
Can you tell us a bit more about what it's like to be a Black woman on stage as well and in the industry? Because you were told in the beginning, there was I guess a misconception in the beginning that, it's all politics. They don't like Black girls. You have to take drugs, like all those things. So what is it like for you?
Yeah. So in the beginning, I remember one thing I first heard was like, hey, you gotta take drugs. Second thing I remember was when I was going to get my pro card, everyone was like, you're not gonna turn pro. No one turns pro in the first show. Like, you should be okay with it. And then I turned pro, come back, everyone's like, oh, you just turned pro because you're Black.
What?
Okay. I'm older. So I was like, okay, you're a hater. You will always find some excuse instead of just saying I worked my ass off and I deserved it.
Exactly.
Because I went to junior nats with Sandy, and Sandy don't play. Okay. Don't even I got turned pro by Sandy. I'm like, I love that to say that. And then I have heard that from big names. I won't say any, but I've heard big names like, honey, they don't want a Black Miss Bikini Olympia. And I'm like, where the hell are you guys hearing this from? Like, why do you think they don't? And I'm like, it makes no sense. Bikini's only been out for what is it now? 8 years? Maybe 9?
Yeah, I mean, competitively for sure.
Right? So let me get this straight. You have to, first of all, be a pro. So how many Black girls are pros? Cool. Now let's go. How many are actively competing? Cool. How many are winning a show or qualifying for Olympia? Cool. Now that's 40 of the best girls. The last Olympia was 40 of the best girls. Then you got to beat 39 of the best girls in the world. Statistically, it just hasn't happened. That's it. That's what I think. I don't think it's purposely. And I've heard other girls say, like, to like some of the judges, like, yeah, I want to be the first Black Miss Olympia. They even have said like, oh, there hasn't been one. I didn't like notice, because like obviously they didn't, because that's not something important in their world. You know what I mean? Like, they don't think about it like that. They're not Black. So it's when I heard that, I'm like, see, I told you. Like, they don't even They didn't even notice it was happening. It's just statistically, it hasn't happened. I mean, all the Black pros know each other. That's how many of us there is. We all like, I literally talk to all of them. So how many of us who actually compete? I think there's like maybe 14 of us. I gotta make a list, but it's not a lot. It's at least maybe 20, maybe under 20 are pros who are actively competing, and then you have to win a pro show or qualify for Olympia, and then you have to win Olympia. It just the numbers just dwindle down by the time you get there, because this year's Olympia, the only dark-skinned girls, Black girls, was Jasmine Gonzalez, Daraja, Brina Martinez, Brittany Dane, and Tasha. Oh, and oh my gosh, she's gonna kill me because I did not say her name. She just like turned pro and she won. She won the Salt Lake Pro last year. Oh God, I can't think of her name right now. I feel so bad.
I feel bad too. I don't know who you're talking about.
She's a beast too. I have a prep.
I have a few come to mind. I'm thinking about like Ashley. Ashley. She won the Salt Lake Pro last year. Like Wasatch, or is this all?
Yeah.
Is it, okay.
She's like a new pro, but so it was 6. And that was pretty high. It was 6 out of 40. Was
Lexus.
Yes.
Lexus has been on this show. She's amazing. She's so
amazing.
Sweet.
She's
met
sweet.
Her in Vegas. Yeah. She's awesome.
She's awesome. So like there's only, so that was 6, right? So 6 out of 40 were Black girls, and Brina and Jasmine placed top 10. So you know what I mean? Daraja placed 14th. That's 3 out of 6. You know what I mean? So like statistically, It just hasn't happened. If that was a problem, why would they let Brina and Jasmine be that high up? Why would they put Daraja 14th? It's not. I really don't think. I 100% don't think they care. Like at that standpoint, and that's why I love bodybuilding, because I feel like this has nothing to do with our race at all. This is the one thing I've ever done in my whole life where I know it has something to do with race. I've had office jobs. I've been a dancer. That stuff, yes, race comes into play a lot. But bodybuilding, I haven't had any issue with it at all. If anything, being Black helps me stick out sometimes, because sometimes you're the only Black girl that day. So you kind of stick out. I think when I got my pro card, I was the only Black girl in my class out of 40. Again,
statistically.
Yeah. Statistically, I was one of the few Black girls nationally ranked in class D who went to junior nats at that time. Like that's all I think it was. I was the first one up too. I remember I was the first one up for junior nats.
That's awesome.
And then I went around and Sandy put me center. Girl, when I tell you I was crying.
Oh my God, I can imagine.
Because I was scared. I was like, I'm the first one up. She's gonna forget me, you know? And I go around and I come back, Denetra Blackshear. I was like, what? You sure?
That's
ma'am?
Me.
Ma'am, are you sure? Okay.
Had you talked to her before that show, or was that the first time she saw you?
That's the first time. I didn't even know who Sandy was. I'm so sorry. I was such a newbie. And my first coach,
you didn't even know about JM's photo shoot. I mean, you did.
My new coach just dropped the ball. Like he just didn't tell me anything. And that's why I'm when I talked to Paul, you know, about my journey, he's like, you know, you turned yourself pro. And I was like, you're right, I did. Because he gave me one training plan and one meal plan for a whole 8 months. It was the same thing. Every single.
Did you follow that?
Yeah.
Damn.
Girl.
Oh, yikes. I get the whole, you know, there's a difference between progressive overload and consistency and staying on your game and just negligence. That's like negligence. So good for you. You know, you're proving a lot of people wrong. And I love that you're willing to talk about that on this show as well, because I think people listening might have those misconceptions or might have had those seeds planted, and you're showing up and saying that's not true. You also brought up Brittany. You brought up Brittany Dane. She's been on this show. And she has her skincare line. I noticed you had used it. Yes. I think that's awesome. I love that you're supporting her. Can you tell us about it? Like from your perspective? Because she came on and I think, why don't we hear from someone else's perspective?
Yeah, I'm super proud of her. Her skincare line, RYT, Reveal Your Truth. It's a very, very good skincare line. I love all the steps. Since I I travel. I've lived in Korea. I've been to Japan. Anything I know about the Asian cultures are really into skincare. So I was always used to taking that many steps with my skincare. So when Brittany made one, it was more geared towards obviously dark skin. Anyone can use it, but when you deal with dark skin, which is a lot of things that we deal with, like hyperpigmentation, dark spots. And so the Asian skincare lines didn't really cater to that. So I was very happy when Brittany had the same methods, but also, had the benefits for dark skin. I love it. It changed my skin this year where I don't even have to wear makeup. I used to wear makeup all the time. And if you see me all the time, I don't wear makeup. 'Cause I'm more confident. Very easy to use. It lasts really, really long. And Brittany knows what she's talking about. And she cares about what goes in her product and what goes on your face. And I'm very, very honored that she let me use it. And I actually need to order another bottle.
That's awesome. I'm glad I reminded you.
Yeah.
So you brought up living and competing in other countries, and I think that is really cool. But I've always I've wanted to maybe do like a muscle contest international show, but I just think in my head, like, okay, well, how did you plan for the trip? How did you time it like jet lag, and food prep and like the groceries and the language barriers? Like, how did you handle all of this?
So the show I did was Asia Grand Prix in South Korea. I actually was living in South Korea 3 months prior.
What were you there for?
I have friends. I have some fun friends. I love my friends. Just always wanted to visit Korea. I'm very lucky. I was spoiled. I got to go to like a nice exclusive gym, and my friends helped me grocery shop and stuff. But I decided to compete since I was there anyways. But I did learn a lot from watching the girls come in.
Okay.
So first of all, muscle contest international show. I haven't done one, but muscle contest shows are fun. So I know what they do here in America, they're doing in another country. So we know we're gonna be taken care of. One. They usually do the host hotel and venue and an American English dominated hotel. So you're usually gonna go to a hotel that's everyone pretty much speaks English. So that makes things easier. With groceries, I mean, if you're in a hotel, you can order chicken and rice and stuff. It's not gonna be too hard. But a lot of girls, you'll see them like we bring rice cakes and tuna.
Oh, okay.
And jerky, right? So the only protein that you're able to bring because internationally you're not allowed to bring fruits and vegetables. So you're allowed to bring like stuff that's sealed, like meat. So like tuna is okay, and like canned tuna or any canned meat. Beef jerkies are okay, and then rice cakes. I don't think you can have rice because rice technically has water in it, and I don't think internationally you could bring it, but you bring I think you bring rice cakes if it hasn't been opened yet. So on the plane, yeah, you're just pretty much eating rice cake and tuna for that 14-hour flight.
Everybody loves you on that flight.
Yeah, right. And it sucks because usually when you go like to other countries, the food is usually that country's food. So like when you go to Korea, like it's gonna be Korean dishes, and and you're like, I can't eat that because so much sodium. But you sleep too, since it's usually if you're going to, let's say, Asia, it's a 17-hour flight. You're gonna sleep for at least 8 or 9 of that. So you pretty much just gotta prep for food for like 6 hours. If you go to if you go to Brazil or something, I don't think it's gonna be too hard. The flight's not too long. You just gotta, just have you need fats. I will do like a pack of almonds. I don't know if you're allowed to bring almonds. I think you can. I think it's mostly fruits and vegetables you can't bring internationally. It needs to be like in a package. It has to be like sealed, and you can't open it till you get on the plane. But usually, yeah. And if you're a pro, usually it's the pro judges. So it's always the same judges. So Asia Grand Prix was Sandy. I might do Romania Pro this year. It'll probably Tim Gardner. So it's always the same judges. So that's what's nice. It's going to be the same judges, you're just in a different country.
Right.
And it feels kind of same, but more exciting. The time difference is hard. So I was lucky. I was living in Korea, so I was already adjusted to the time difference. But when I do plan to go to a show, I'm going to get there the week before. So if the show's Saturday, most countries, like if you're going to an Asia country, a Europe country, you gotta remember they're a day ahead of us. So you're gonna lose a day. So when you like, if you leave Monday, you're landing Tuesday or maybe early Wednesday morning. So I want to plan to land there like on Tuesday, because you're going to have probably in a day or two, you will fall asleep and pass out. It's jet lag. Your body will catch up to that time zone and it's inevitable. So I always say, try to get there, you know, a few days earlier if you can, so you can catch up on sleep and adjust to the time. But it's weird and fun. Like I've traveled and been somewhere for only like, you know, 4 days and came back to this country. It's weird and fast and fun all at the same time. So I think competing will be cool, because I feel like I'm gonna be stepping on stage and I'm gonna feel like it's 9 a.m.
Yes.
Doing awards. Like, I think that would be kind of fun. And it's always fun being in a country and then going out to eat afterwards, because you're in another country. It's so like cool.
Exploring
like,
and culture. Yeah.
Yes. And oh my God, people freak out at us because you have to remember, majority of the bodybuilders are in America.
Yeah, true.
They don't see us. So when you go to other country shows, it is like a big spectacle. Like, they come out, they freak out.
I always think that's funny at the Asia Grand Prix when I see that. I'm like, this is
meet
hilarious.
And greet.
Yeah, the
so
meet
when
and
I
greet.
did it, so when I did it, I'm like, I'm a new pro. It was like my third show as a pro, right? Or my second, I think. And I'm like, ain't nobody gonna care about me. Like, Janet's here, Angelica's here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, why have a meet and greet? And I had a line. And I got Denetra, they Googled me. They found out my stats. They wanted pictures. I was like, what?
They're into it.
Because it doesn't matter. I'm an IFBB Pro from America. Like, they loved it. And they also follow me and message me and like, we're wishing the best for you.
Oh,
you know, please come back. We love you. And I was just so honored. I was like, yeah, I can get used to this.
That is so cool. I love that. That is amazing. And thank you again for sharing that and your insights as well. You're currently in prep, which is super great. What are you hoping to get out of this season, and how's your approach maybe different now than the last one, since you said you're not really freaking out at this point?
Yeah, so I'm 13 weeks out. I'm going to do Chicago Pro, Tim Gardner's Wings of Strength, which is actually going to be hosted in Atlanta, which I live like literally down the street, which is oh my God. Like, we weren't planning on the show. We were actually planning to do Battle of the Bodies, which is Janet's in Fort Lauderdale the week after. But then they announced this show, and, you know, I called Paul. I was like, yo, Chicago Pro's in Atlanta. He's like, yeah, so you're doing it. Because why not, right? Yeah. Why not do 2 back-to-back shows? I mean, I get to work out at my home gym. I get to sleep in my own bed. I get to meal prep at home and literally wake up and drive down to a venue. Like, my whole family can come, and it's just a good kickoff show. So I'm excited. This year, it feels like when I first competed. When I first like competing, I kept winning those shows and I turned pro. It's not like, I hate saying I'm gonna win because I feel cocky, but I'm more confident like I was my first season. I'm doing everything I need to do to win, so I'm going to win this year. Like, there's no reason why I shouldn't qualify for Olympia. That's my mindset right now. I'm not thinking like, oh, I hope I qualify, that'd be nice. No, I've been doing that and it hasn't worked. So let's switch it up this year. I'm winning, I'm qualifying, I'm making a name for myself this year. Brand new Denetra, brand new package, brand new focus. I have a better relationship with food. I have a better relationship with everyone in my life. I have a better relationship with the gym. I have a plan for the whole season. And one thing I'm definitely going to do this year is I'm going to have way more fun backstage. Anyone listening, those are the best moments. And that is why we all compete. That's why Ashley K Fit, everyone's like, why does she compete so much? Oh, Ashley competes because show day is the best feeling ever. Like, we have so much fun backstage. I'm going to film more. So please follow me on YouTube, because I want to film how crazy and fun we are backstage. It is just laughs and dancing and hanging out. And I cannot wait to see everyone. There's a lot of pros that I never met before who are competing. Like we've already talked about meeting each other. I live for those moments and I'm going to record them more because I've had some of the best talks in my life backstage or eating dinner with like Brittany post-show, Masa. I remember the first time I met Romina finally. Like Romina, obviously her first language isn't English, so she seems very shy. But when she's able to talk, like she's so sweet. Like she's it's so like it's just so refreshing to meet everyone. And I love it. I want to showcase how amazing each of these girls are because I literally love every girl in the sport. And I don't care if people think I'm like being like I don't know if they think like, oh, okay, like you're okay, Denetra, but like I really do. Like I love every girl because like they're me. No one else, even though my family supports me and everyone loves me, like, come on, man. They're the only ones who actually know what I go through. Mm-hmm. And they're the only ones who can actually relate. So they're like literally my sisters. And I love them so much. So this year I definitely want to film more and showcasing the softer sides of everyone and how sweet and they are. Because I think a lot of amateurs see the pros and get intimidated. Like, guys, they're the biggest dorks just like you. we're all thinking about food just like you. We're all, timing our water just like you. We all pose and mess up. Like there's been so many times we're all backstage practicing posing and someone trips and we all laugh at each other because we all mess up. Like it happens. And mm-hmm. I just really, really want to showcase the fun side. Like, why do they do this?
That's awesome.
They're crazy, match my crazy.
I love that. That's so cool because I think people do put pros on a pedestal mm-hmm. or even really good amateurs. But also I do believe you guys deserve credit where respect is due. The respect 100%. Is there. Exactly.
It's funny when I film this year, it's gonna be so funny when you watch us laughing and then when they like line us up, how we all just switch like for that 45 minutes of prejudging, like come on, it's business.
Yeah, of course.
But it's really it's just really fun. I want to show people that we're just a big happy family. All the coaches pretty much get along. I have any issues with coaches. Like Paul talks to other coaches and other coaches come to him and they all be sitting there talking. Like I love it. I went to Olympia this year and that was so much fun to watch. And this is why I feel like I'm going to Olympia. I watched Olympia this year. You know what I mean? Like yeah. I went, I saw it, Paul's like envisioned it, and I'm like, oh, I see it. So I'm very, very excited. We got some plans this year. And new suit color coming.
Ooh. How'd you decide that?
I was checking in with Paul in different suits, like just practice suits. And he goes, so that color is amazing on you. And I was like, okay.
Say no more.
Let's get a new suit mate. Just in case. I got my other one. My one from last season. Everyone loved it too, and I love it too. But I'm a pro. We love having like 20 suits in our arsenal.
Why not, right?
Why not? You never know what the backdrop is going to be. That's a pro tip. If you're an amateur, I wouldn't save your money. Competing as an amateur is so expensive. But as a pro, it helps to have a couple suits with you because you might see the stage on check-ins and notice that the color is going to clash with your suit. So that's why we actually have multiple suits. It's not because we're just little suit hoarders.
It's strategic.
Everything's strategic with pros, and we do not play.
So is there a stage that you've ever had a suit clash with that you look back on, you're like, oh God?
I'm lucky I have not. But I've seen it. Like I understood when I was backstage with someone and we did prejudging. And then we came out for awards and she switched her suit. She goes, my suit clashed with the background. So I want to see it like with this. And the judge even gave her feedback. Oh, yeah, that suit was better. So I listen to everyone's feedbacks and hear what happens and pay attention. Because that makes me a better athlete. I watch everyone's YouTube videos. I watch every time people practice posing. I watch the Olympia prejudging for cardio every day.
Love that.
When I do my cardio, I put on music. And I watch prejudging of Olympia every single day. Just keep me focused. And also I have stuff to learn. Those are the 40 best girls in the world. They got something to teach you.
Absolutely. Every time I'm in prep, I'll watch those videos just for the posing element, and the stage presence. You're like, okay, like I can see, can you see yourself embodying that,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always buy the live streams when there's a show, like tomorrow Salt Lake. So I bought the live stream. I want to see why that girl won first place. I want to understand it. That makes me a better competitor. So that's one thing I would tell everyone. Stop being so scared to watch your competition. They can teach you something.
Yes.
You'll learn. That's how you become the best. They didn't become the best because they just sat at home and ignored everyone. They paid attention. And so that's what I do. That's why me and Daraja, I listen to everything Daraja says. She's 14th in the world, okay? She's the best right now to me. I got a lot to learn, so I listen.
I love that, because so many people are afraid to watch, because they have insecurities or self-doubt. It's like, well, let's shift your mindset. Watch to learn, don't watch to compare, watch to learn. And I love the advice you just shared. And I'm going to ask you, because you've given us lots of great advice and lots of good insight on this show, but I always love to wrap up the episodes by asking for your best advice for girls who have never competed before but would like to, and then your best advice for athletes who are on their road to pro.
Yeah. So for girls who never competed but would like to, I highly recommend getting a coach, making sure that's a coach that you're comfortable with, making sure they don't make you do anything that you are not comfortable with, and take your time. Your timeline is different than anyone's. If you want to take 2 years to get on stage, you take 2 years. I don't believe like you need to do a show in 12 weeks, but your coach will help you. They will help you decide on that decision. But sometimes, like me, I didn't think I could compete in 4 weeks, and I could. Everyone starts at different points. But if you're just starting, just listen to your coach. Make sure you take your time and understand. Like, don't compare yourself to the pros, please. You can be inspired by us, but do not compare yourself to us, because we were amateurs too. So, just because you don't look like Miss Olympia right now doesn't mean you can't compete. You have to go through the league, through the circuit. So be inspired by us, but don't compare yourself to us. That's one thing I highly recommend. And then if you are competing, you're trying to turn pro, obviously everyone's journey is different. So, I'm one of the people, I turned pro fast, right? So, thank God I did turn pro fast. But I had a difficult time being a pro, right? So I'm learning how to compete as a pro. So that's my journey. So don't compare your journey to anyone else. Do your own timeline and really just focus on doing your best day in and day out. I will say for me, I feel like I did turn pro fast because when I had shows that were even around the holidays, I didn't eat or cheat on the holidays because these are my goals. If you do learn anything from the pros, is we don't make an excuse when it comes to what we need to get done. You will have another birthday. Christmas will come again. It's just what's important to you right now. Okay. You're not giving up your birthday forever, but maybe this year we're gonna say no to the cake because we're trying to go to nationals. My birthday was Nationals week. So middle of the week, my family ate my birthday cake in front of my face. And I said, it's all right, I'll have cake after I get that pro card. My mom went, yes, you will, baby. And
love that.
When I came back, she had cake for me. So
that's awesome.
Was that good? Was those good? I hope so.
Beautiful advice. Amazing.
Yay.
No, absolutely. Everything that you shared has been awesome and so enjoyable for me as a host, but I know people listening are going to be just loving this and eating it up and want to connect with you more too. So could you share where people could connect with you?
Yeah, you guys can follow me on Instagram at Denetra Be Fit. And then also I have all my YouTube and things there. And yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at. Instagram, I'm always posting. And if you guys ever have any questions, especially new competitors, anyone, please DM me. I will answer any question. I don't think there's a stupid question. You're looking into a coach or you want to try this and that, and you will make sure, you're safe or it works for you. Ask me. I want to help because I wish someone helped me. That's why I'm so helpful. I feel like I kind of baby, or I'm more helpful now because thank God I escaped that situation, but I'm very grateful it doesn't happen to a lot of people. So I want to give back, and I want to make sure someone doesn't go through the same trauma I went through my first shows. So yeah.
I love that. It's so awesome. I admire your genuineness and your willingness to support so many people, and for coming on this show again. I really appreciate it. And I'll make sure I put your Instagram, YouTube, all those links in the show notes page. So
Yay.
yes. And what's cool too is I have girls who do episode timestamps. So like if you guys are listening, or Denetra, you want to like find something, you guys can actually see when we talked about certain things. And on YouTube, you can click it, or on the website, or which is celestial.fit/podcast. Yes, me too. Timestamps. I'm like, okay, now I know what I'm getting myself into.
Exactly.
So you guys can find all that at celestial.fit/podcast. Or of course, just check the show notes where you're listening. And thank you guys so much for tuning in and for your listenership. I mean, this has been an amazing celebration. We just wrapped up the 500K unique downloads, which has been so cool. Yes. And I'm hoping, thank you. I appreciate it, because of the amazing community, that we were just both raving about. So appreciate you, Denetra, and to everybody listening. I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day, night, or morning, wherever you are in the world while you're listening to this episode. Just make it awesome.